the summer of love.
What's up everybody, it's Rex Pro here, and today I'm bringing you a Krawler deck profile. This is one of my favorite decks in the Link era as of late, but I'm going to jump right into this. This is a new flip archetype that's just completely swarms the field. They can swarm the field with Link monsters. They're the regular main deck monsters, which aren't as effective, but getting their effects off is just crazy good. So I'm going to start off with Krawler Receptor. Its flip effect is you can add one Krawler monster from your deck to your hand. So right off the bat you have a Searcher. All of them are level 2 Earth Insect monsters, so obviously their attack and defense aren't going to be that great. Their defense, I guess, can be pretty good, but I don't think any of them have really that good of attack. And then all of the Krawlers have the second effect. If this face-up card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, you can special summon 2 Krawler monsters with different names from your deck in face-down position, except Krawler Receptor, and then you can only use each Krawler effect once per turn. So it's they're pretty good. The only thing that sucks about them is the hard ones per turn, so you can't like keep bringing themselves out and keep searching infinitely. But it makes it a little balanced just in case this deck ever gets more support. So we're running 3 of him, 3 of Krawler Gleal, and his flip effect is that you can special summon 1 Krawler monster from your hand or graveyard in face-up or face-down defense position. If you summon it in a face-up attack position, or if you summon it in face-up position, it has to be in attack mode, which isn't that bad because that allows you to link summon and everything. Also, the field spell makes that really interesting. Alright, so moving on, we've got Krawler Spine. Basically, manning your bug, you target 1 monster in the field, destroy it. He's really good and has the best defense out of any of them with 2100, and he's sort of like evidence to me that these guys are descendants of Ally of Justice or something, because if you look at like his armor and everything, it looks like a mini Catastor, so who knows. I only won run one. I don't know. Oh, that was a tongue twister. Anyways, I only run 1 Krawler Ranvier. His effect is probably the worst of them all. You can target 2 Krawler monsters in your graveyard, add them to your hand. It's very situational because a lot of the times you're going to be using Gleal to special summon monsters from your graveyard anyways, or one of your Link monsters. So having them in your hand isn't bad necessarily, but it's not necessarily good either. That's why I only run 1 copy. And then we've got 3 Krawler Axon. Basically, MST, you can target 1 spell trap card on the field, destroy it. It's really good. His defense is also really nice, 1800. Not going to stop much, but if your opponent just tries to swing for some low damage, 1800 will. There's a better chance than a lot of the other ones, but Spine is still the best. Then we'll run 2 Krawler Dendrite, literally Foolish Burial. It's not Krawler specific. It's just a Foolish Burial effect, which is awesome. So if you want any of your monsters in the graveyard and say you were splashing this into something else, this would be a great card to splash in for the Krawler engine. Alright, we run 2 Self-Destructant. Each player takes 1000 damage when it's flipped up, and if this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, inflict 1000 damage to your opponent. You can only use each effect of Self-Destructant once per turn. So you can't have 2 on the field, but it's not like you can only use 1 effect and only once that turn. So basically, if your opponent attacks into this face-down card, you both take 1000 damage, which shortens the duel as if you started with 7000 life points. And then since it gets destroyed, most likely they're going to be taking another 1000 damage. So it's really good. If only it was a level 2, it would be just completely broken in this deck. Because of some other card effects, but I think it might actually still be good. I'm not sure. Ignore me. Anyways, our last monster is World Legacy World Armor. I only run 1 of him because he's not essential to the deck strategy in my opinion at all, because he's not an insect, he's not Earth type, he's not a flip monster. But anyways, his effect is when a monster is flip summoned, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal or special summon, you can add a World Legacy card from your deck to your hand. So you're going to be adding your field spell or the trap card basically off of this. If you were splashing this in with like Jack Knights or something, in the future, that this card would be really good to splash it in with. And then if this normal summon set card is on the field, quick effect, you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls that was special summon from the extra deck, and return both it and this card to the hand. You can only use each effect of its name once per turn. So it's pretty good. It's just the fact that you have to normal summon it to get its second effect off is just too slow to me, and because you're not going to be normal summoning it. I just can't see. I've never normal summoned it. I've only special summoned it off of flip summoning one of my monsters if my opponent is going slow or running a similar deck. So yeah, that's it. Next we got our spells, Double Pot of Desires, self-explanatory. We got our 3 shadows creeping over the World Legacy, or World Legacy in Shadow, as its TCG name is. All Krawler monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense. Once per turn, you can special summon a level 2 or lower insect monster from your hand in face-up or face-down defense position. And then here's the part that is just crazy good. I mean, that first effect is also just amazingly good and speeds up the deck so much. But when your opponent, when your flip monster is destroyed by battle with an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. Doesn't destroy it, it just gets sent to the graveyard. It's crazy good. I don't know why, but all of these, so far, with the 3 World Legacy archetypes, they all have non-target removal that isn't destruction, non-target, non-destruction removal, and it's just crazy good. Plus that special summon effect just speeds up the deck so much. So of course we gotta have our 3 terraforming to search it out, because this deck does not function without that. It helps you swarm so much, it helps you control the board, it's just amazing. Alright, next we got 3 Wormbait. This is a playmaker right here. So say you start off with your field spell, you normal summon one of your Crawlers, and then you special summon another one from your hand, then you activate Wormbait, so now you have a total of 4 monsters, and then you can link someone off of that and just start off just crazy good. So we're running 3 of that because what it does is you have to control a face-up insect type monster, and then you get to special summon 2 worm tokens on your side of the field. You can't normal summon or special summon level 3 or 4 monsters the turn you activate this card, which is why Blast In is sort of you know. Anyways, we got 1 Raigeki because it's Raigeki, and then 2 double summon because you could potentially, if you get a perfect hand, you'd be able to have 5 monsters on the field in your first turn, which is just really good. 2 World Legacy's Puppet. This is the trap card of the deck, pretty much. You can target 1 face-down monster you control, change it to face-up attack or defense position, and then you can shuffle a Krawler monster from your graveyard into the main deck. Then target 1 face-up monster you control, change it to face-down defense position. You can only use 1 World Legacy Pawns effect per turn, and only once that turn. So yeah, when I first read through it, and probably from me reading it that time, you probably thought that it was all 1 effect, but yeah, there is actually a period after defense position and not a comma, so that's where that first effect stops. So basically, you can sort of use it to do some interruption on your opponent's turn. If you have Axon or Gleal on your field, you can flip them face up to get either if you have Axon, destroy a monster, or if you have Gleal, you can just, summon your Axon, and then once they attack into it, they're going to be screwed. You could also do it with your Blast In if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it. But it's a really good card, but I only run it at 2 because of the fact that it's a continuous trap, so yeah, also traps are sort of bad this format. Anyways, 2 Metaverse because you really need to start with that field spell. 3 Storming Mirror Force because if your opponent attacks, basically you want their monsters to go away, and too many cards these days can recover from the graveyard or have graveyard effects, so we just want them back to the hand as quickly as possible. And then 1 Solemn Warning just to take care of any other problems. Now, on to the extra deck. We got 3 Subterra Behemoth Fiendus. This was a new Link monster that came out in, actually all of these are pretty much new Link monsters. But this card is crazy good. 2 flip monsters, and it gains don't worry about that first effect. But you can send a flip monster from your deck to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one monster from your hand in face down defense position to your zone this card points to. And then you can only use this effect of Subterra Behemoth Fiend once per turn. Once per turn, if a monster this card points to is flipped face up, add one flip monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So this is your combo piece right here. As long as this card is in that position, you're basically winning. I mean, there's no getting around it. It is just crazy good. I really can't express how good it is. Plus, it's an Earth type, so if you get out your Mrs. Radiant, it'll gain attack, and it's really good. You want to start off with this. I run 3 just in case it gets interrupted, but you're probably only ever going to go into it once, because once you get this guy out, you can basically go off on your all of your Krawler link monsters. So anyways, we run 3 Krawler, X-Krawler Quailiarch. In my opinion, the coolest of them all. Cool name, cool artwork. Absolutely love this guy. Now, all of the Krawler link monsters have a different main effect, which is if this face-up card is destroyed by battle or leaves the field because of an opponent's card effect, while you control it, you can target 2 Krawler monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them in face-down defense position. Apply these, and then it has its unique effect, which for Quailiarch, it's apply these effects based on the number of Krawler monsters you control. If you control 2 monsters, all monsters you control gain 300 attack and defense. 4 Krawler monsters, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated during the battle phase. And then if you have 6 or more Krawler monsters, you're basically maximum of 6. I don't think it's possible as of now to have 7 Krawler monsters on the field. But your monsters can attack directly. If you have Quailiarch, this is another situation where you're basically winning. If you can get out a Quailiarch, if you can get out 2 Quailiarchs, you're guaranteed to win by this point because of the fact that you're gonna have at least that 4 effect, or like it's a 4 or more effect, plus the fact that all of your monsters are going to be gaining attack and defense from the field spell, then the link monsters, because all the link monsters have the gain 300 attack and defense, which is crazy. Anyways, X-Krawler Neurogos. So this one requires 2 insect monsters, so that's where Wormbait sort of comes in. Krawler monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by battle. They gain 300 attack and defense, and if they battle your opponent's monster, any battle damage they inflict to your opponent is doubled. So it basically turns your monsters into a Chaos Max minus the piercing. But it's so good. Like, you pair this up with the next link monster, you have like an unbeatable pair. The problem with Krawlers, just like all of the World Legacy cards so far, except for Jack Knights, is that they don't really have protection, but that's why you run the trap line up. But it's so good. For a flip-based deck, they attack really heavy. Next we have X-Krawler Synapthus. 2 Earth monsters, so you could use the Scapegoat if you wanted to, but I prefer Wormbait. So Krawler monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed with battle. They gain 300 attack and defense, and can make up to 2 attacks on monsters during each battle phase. So if you were to have this paired to like your Neurogos, and then vice versa, you're going to have a lot of damage on board that turn. It only has 1800 attack though, which is kind of bad, but it's still pretty good considering its effect and everything. So yeah, we run 1 copy of Mrs. Radiant just for that extra 500 attack and defense to all of your monsters. 1 Sky Cavalry. You're probably never going to go into this, but just in case your board is full and you're just trying to get protection, because it can't be destroyed while it controls Xyz material or while it has Xyz material on it. And then at the end of the battle phase, if it attacks, you detach material from this card. Oh, my bad. I read that wrong. If this card battled an opponent's monster, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card and then return that monster from the field to the hand. So it's actually pretty good, but like, I've never gone into it. Then we have number 45, Crumble Logos, the Prophet of Demolition. Same 2 or more level 2 monsters. Actually, this one was just 2 level 2, but this one's 2 or more. Once per turn, you can detach an Xyz material from this card, then target another face-up card on the field. While this monster is face-up on the field, that target has its effects negated. While that target is on the field, cards with the same name as that target and their effects cannot be activated. So this is like a lockdown card. Once again, I've never gone into this, but it is a good choice. Plus, it's very similar to a Link Monster in the fact that both of these have 0 defense, which is pretty funny. But they are really good. This one is better because it's an Earth type, so I can see you might want to run this at more than 1 if you are running a faster variant, or a lockdown variant, because of the fact that it'll get the Missus Radiant boost. But yeah, I'm not going to go over my side deck just because that is my personal preference. If you want to see tips on how to build a side deck for the format, let me know and I'll do a separate video on it, or just give you a list of what I prefer in my side deck, depending on the format. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, and if you did, please like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching, hope to see you next time, and as always, have a roaring good day.